What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video, and in today's video we're going to be doing what if Canada had an empire. And also just saying I am back. I was supposed to record some videos, but I couldn't find a map that would work, so it's a whole process that I have to do. But what if Canada had an empire? Also, I just wanted to say please like and subscribe. It's free and it helps out the channel. So yeah, so if you want to subscribe, then go ahead, and if you don't, it's fine. But yeah, let's get to the video. So Canada's getting an empire, right? Obviously they're buffed, and also so NATO, the UN, the EU, all of those things, all the major alliances are pretty much out and no more, pretty much. And Canada is, well, they buff. They have a bigger population, better economy, and a much bigger military. But they're still not strong enough to take on the U.S. yet. So they're gonna come down to Africa, and they're declare war on some countries. They're gonna declare war on 3 countries. Well, 4, but yeah. So Canada makes a little bit of a naval landing in. Okay, guys, I'm not the best with my Africa, so you cannot really blame me for doing this, but for not knowing my Africa. I mean, you can, but just please don't. But I do know some countries in Africa. But you have Canada's army pushing out, and then you go ahead and have I know it. Oh my gosh, okay. It's on the tip of my tongue. I just forgot it. Guys, you gotta remember, I haven't done mapping a little bit, so I'm still refreshing my memory. I'm still getting back into the game, but you have Canada now taking out, and now these guys go ahead and surrender. And with the fall of that, it's pretty much everyone else just follows, because that, and with Canada's army already ready to expand some more, they do go ahead and declare war on a couple more countries. And they are after these 2. They want their coastline, but they go ahead and declare war on... No, they don't declare war on them yet. They do pretty much just wipe out these 2 countries, but so I'll just save you the gore. And Canada's just making colonies pretty much at this point. So now Canada's a colonial power, and yay, I guess these countries aren't that strong. But you see, Canada's after some other countries. Like, they are after some stronger countries in Africa. And they actually declare war on some stronger countries. And I mean, Canada's going all out for these wars. And Canada declared war on these 3. So Canada's plan is to, because these 2 countries are scared of Canada, because Canada's massive expanding. So Canada said, just let me move my troops through you. And they said, okay. The other side asked also, but they said no. Canada quickly rolls over this country. Oh my gosh, I'm not good with Africa, okay, guys? I'm sorry. But they end up leaving like this. They go ahead and surrender, and Canada moves its troops. They start to enter. What is this? It's a new map, guys, so and honestly, Chad, they're just there. Chad's the Chad. Bro, you can't do anything to Chad. So they end up moving their troops, but they end up putting. So Canada goes ahead and move their troops through the countries, and then these two, and then Canada does make a little bit of gains. You gotta remember this is like mostly the hotter areas of these countries, so. And these guys are probably one of the stronger ones of Africa. They're not the strongest, but I know they're at least a little bit stronger. I know that, oh, that's not supposed to happen. We're just gonna pretend like that doesn't exist, okay? But Canada can't do much more, so they're gonna go ahead and declare war on another country. Well, two more countries. And actually, Canada does do pretty good in the Congo. They make a naval invasion. They land. And they were able to hold. But, you see, the U.S., they're starting to say, hey, Canada, do you need some support? And they say, why, are you going to join the war? They said, no, we're just going to send you more guns and people and volunteers. And Canada said, okay. These guys ended up getting rolled over, and that opens up a new front for Canada, which leaves them pretty open. They were not expecting Canada to even be able to be this successful. And with those new guns, Canada is able to easily roll through, cut the country into two, and then they go ahead and surrender, and now it's pretty much just these guys. I'm pretty sure these guys are the most populated this country. Like the most populated country in Africa. But Canada goes ahead and makes a spearhead to encircle a lot of troops over here, because Niger had a lot of troops over here. So Nigerians troops are over here. And before you guys get angry, that is the name of the country, so yeah. But you go ahead and have them making a second spearhead out, and it now leaves them looking like this, and they go ahead and surrender. So Canada now only has to deal with one more country, the Congo. And with seeing how Canada's been aggressive, the Congo's starting to feel like they should be just straight up just surrender. Because honestly, the Congo's not doing so well. They're pretty much isolated right now. But see, the U.S. doesn't know that Canada's intents to unify North America. But eventually, the Congo does surrender once it started to look like that. And see, I'm just going to go ahead and drop the peace treaty, and I will see you guys once the peace treaty is finished. So, see you guys in a second. Okay, so, this is the peace treaty pretty much. So, Canada ends up making a puppet state up here, combining these two countries, Cambodia and Nigeria. And then they kind of split the Congo up into 4 puppet states because, well, they wanted to. Canada was not nice in Africa. And they kind of just stole this land from them. They just stole it. And there kind of happened to be a coalition. Yes, we're not done with Africa. We almost are, but a coalition happened with this from weak countries. I'm gonna spare you the gore, and I'll just drop the peace treaty real quickly. It pretty much is this. Canada fully annexes them. And then the rest goes into the puppet state of this puppet. I don't know what to call it, so. And then it goes up like this. That goes away. That goes away. And then there we go. We have one massive Canadian colony. So, Canada is a very big contributor in Africa now. They are probably the largest country in Africa. They might be the largest country in Africa. Honestly, I think they are because they span pretty far down. But they now have some new areas that they're going after. They're still not strong enough to go after the US. So they decide that they're gonna go after, well, not there. They're going after Colombia. Yep. They straight up just declare war on Colombia. The US does end up joining this war, but they're not doing much. But so the Colombians, they were able to at least hold off a little bit for the first little bit, but then the Canadian Army fully got settled in this area, and then a massive spearhead went out. Like, this is because of the US and Canada's working together. Like, Canada's like in the top 10, and they're like not low top 10, they're high top 10. And eventually the whole country just goes ahead and decides to surrender. Because, well, I don't remember calling that. Oh well. But Canada just makes it into their makes it into a puppet for the most part, and then Canada goes ahead and takes away their coastal line, like they've been doing with most countries. So now Canada has a pretty good foothold in Africa, and so they have a good foothold in South America, and they have a good foothold in Africa. And if they really wanted to, they could totally go after more African countries, but they're not really wanting to right now. But you have the Canada looking over to their east, looking over to their east and saying, "Hey, Britain." They're like, "Yeah, you want to join an alliance?" They were like, "Oh, we thought you were about to invade us." Well, I was, but then I realized that it probably wouldn't be the smartest decision. And they said, "Fair enough." So Canada and Britain goes ahead and does some liberating. By liberating, I mean totally fake liberating, bruh. This is not real. They go ahead and pretty much make Northern Ireland actually northern. Like, Old North is now up there. But eventually you have, after mass bombing from the sea and a spearhead right outside of the capital looks like it's gonna fall soon, because the capital is like right here. Oh no, it's more on the coastal line. It's like right here. So yeah. So the spearhead, it's like right at the gates of the city, pretty much. And there's like mass bombing from the sky, and there's mass bombing from the ground. Also, I'm just gonna say this now: nukes do not exist in this world. But eventually, the city is captured, and they surrender. Except for the army, but eventually the army was forced to surrender. They were pummeled. And pretty much all of it just goes over to Britain. But now, you have Canada with their newfound ally looking down south. And they say, "I'm going for it." Britain says, "Don't go for it." And they said, "I'm going for it." And they declare war on the US. So Canada is probably very high now. They would be able to put up a fight for the US. And see, this is a surprise attack, because the US thought they were close still. but surprisingly, they were not. And now you have most of that being taken under Canadian rule, but their main focus is down trying to get to New York City. They did end up getting pretty close. They took a pretty good chunk out of the US, but the US had some encirclements taken, like right there and right here. But the US Army is now fully mobilized and ready. Obviously, some is still in Colombia, trying to stop that from happening. But you now have the U.S. pushing out some more. Well, not the U.S. Because the Canadians and Britain is helping the Canadians, but a very big. So this is Operation End the War. That's what the U.S. said. Their plan is to kick the Canadians out of, kick them away from the New York City. But, in fact, that did not work. It actually backfired and left the city encircled. And there's about 15,000 troops right there that just got killed or captured. And now the Canadians are coming down on New York City, and it's not looking so good for them. Well, it's looking good for the Canadians, but eventually New York City is captured, but eventually the U.S. does make a little bit of a pushback. They weren't able to do much because for some reason the Canadians, they are just really popping off. And if you guys are wondering why I'm doing this video, it's because I'm Canadian. Honestly, I love Canada. I'm like the biggest Canadian fan you'll ever meet. So I'm a cold-blooded Canadian. And yes, old Canadians do not say A. And also, we do not live in igloos. Just saying that. But so you have a lot of land being pushed back, but on the other hand, the U.S. is losing some more land. But the Canadians, they're starting a new operation. They're calling it Operation Cobra. Sounds familiar, huh? Yeah, maybe because it's happened in World War I. Alaska pretty much just straight up surrenders over to Canada, because, like, what were they going to do? But, the British, they are, like, down here in Florida, bombing everything with their navy, and they're having massive naval battles, which they're actually surprisingly winning. Honestly, very surprisingly. I don't know how they're winning, but maybe it's because it's Canada's video, but oh, that wasn't supposed to happen. But now you pretty much have Operation Cobra is where the Canadians, they are starting more than 10 spearheads out into the U.S. And yes, I know there's mountains there, but you see, we're Canadians. We are mountains. So there's one spearhead, 2 through 3. So there's pretty much a couple spearheads in the making, like this one and this one. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spearheads. Oh, there's 6 spearheads, which is not gonna inflict massive blows, but I'm pretty sure we're at 6 spearheads right now. 2, 3, 4, and then there we go. So you have all 10 spearheads, and some spearheads, well, they go ahead and meet up. I just said spearheads way too much. some parts of the U.S. goes ahead and starts to surrender, and the U.S. Army is still not, like, they're still so surprised that this is happening, so they are not that quick to mobilize still. They are fully mobilized, but they're still in shock. Because, like, go back 15 days before the war, Canada and the U.S. government, the Canadian Prime Minister and the U.S. government both just met up and were shaking hands. Literally 15 days before this happened. But eventually the U.S. starts to cripple under more pressure. And it's starting to look like the Mexicans are about to join in on this war. And that would not be good for the U.S. Because if they do, then, well, that's game over pretty much. Because right now they're already struggling with the Canadians. And with a mass amount of troops encircled up here. And a lot of troops, and some troops right here. It's not looking so good for them. But over here they were able to push back a little bit eventually. Because obviously you're still dealing with the strongest country in the world. So they were able to push back. They tried to do the spearhead thing. But eventually the Canadian Army comes back. And actually, they kind of wanted that to happen. Because there was a lot of U.S. There's like 100,000 troops right there. Which is not a little bit. And they were just encircled. And they were not taking prisoners today. So the Canadians, they're done with the Americans making stereotypes. And the Canadians, they are no longer taking prisoners, as I said. Which now means that the U.S. is any single troop, if they surrender, bang. That's not good for the U.S. And also that doesn't look good for the Canadians, but meh. But you go ahead and have the Canada make a spearhead right out, because somehow the U.S.'s like troops started magically disappearing. Wonder how that was happening. The Canadians definitely don't have an inside person in the government. And Washington, D.C. is about captured, and wait, did I already make them captured? Okay, well, Washington, D.C. is captured, and they move their capital down to California. And it's starting to look like Canada's, each day that the war is going on, oh my gosh, that was not supposed to happen. But each day that that the war goes on, the U.S. can tell that Canada's going to be harsher with the peace treaty. So they go ahead and surrender. They had no other choice. If they didn't, then they would be in even more trouble than they already are. But they go in the peace treaty. Here, I'll just drop the peace treaty quickly, guys. So, yeah, I'll see you guys in a second. So, this is the peace treaty. So pretty much Canada just moved the strait border down, took both coastal lines, and gave the southern coastal line to the British, because, well, yeah. But they also let go Mexico. Mexico is now their own kingdom again. And not Mexico. I know it. Wait, Mexico. Hawaii. There we go. Hawaii is their own, like, they're their own country now. So, this is gonna do it for this video, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one. So, peace. Bye.